so that the whole room can hear. It's like, well, I want to ask my question, but my voice is really, really quiet. It's like, that's okay. Just hold the mic nice and close, and then the whole room will hear. Then we'll say, stop shouting. Go away. You bug me. I keyed. Hello.
Hi, I'm Lee, and welcome to Sac.
Hi, Lee.
And I just wanted to ask, what's your favorite moment of playing Gohan and going through his journey from teen to fatherhood, basically.
Yeah, it's been wild because I started as a fan of Dragon Ball Z in '95, and in 2000 I got the part and I got to be on Dragon Ball Z, and ever since then it's been that cool journey of getting to just redub the original episodes uncut and all the video games up to now, up to Fighter Z and Super. We're still working on Super, and I kind of have to pinch myself just when I think it's over. It comes back in some form, a movie or another movie or a TV series leading into a movie. And I was a little bummed that Gohan didn't show up in the Broly movie at all. It's like, what's he doing? Is he out to lunch? I don't know. I know he's a responsible parent and a good husband and all that stuff, but he can help too, right? I think the only downside to being Gohan is having to experience firsthand the fact that his potential was going somewhere, and then it was like, after Majin Buu got a hold of him, he's kind of rendered useless for a long time. But he does have some moments, some really nice moments in Super. So I'm stoked to get to play that. It's been a wild ride getting to play the different sides of Gohan. You see he's cool, he's nice, he's sweet, he's naive and innocent, but he's also tough. He can hold his own, obviously. If they were going to position him to basically become the most powerful character in the show, and then change their mind at the last second for whatever reason, it's like, I wish I could just dig into Akira Toriyama's brain. It's like, what happened? And will Gohan have his day? People always ask me that. It's like, do you think he will? And it's like, I don't know if he will. I know that I hope he will. I know that would be great to bring it full circle, I guess. Starting off watching the show, you see Gohan as a kid, and which was wonderfully voiced by Stephanie Nadolny, and then nowadays you hear Colleen Klinkenbeard, who has voiced on Kai and the video games of late. And then we got to revisit all the Z episodes with Dragon Ball Z Kai, with an all-new script that's faithful to the Japanese script, with remastered footage and a way more seasoned cast. So we got to play those roles. Now that we've been acting for so much longer, we're better actors. So I don't know if you've watched Kai or not. A lot of people tend to prefer the original Z because that's what they grew up on and everything. But
with all the fillers and things.
What's
like
that?
With all the fillers, like the car episode and then all that stuff.
Yeah, all the filler stuff, which is chopped out. That's the point of Kai. But again, I would ask people to check it out from an acting standpoint and see what you think, because I think everyone does a way better job in Kai. Now, nostalgia, yeah, you hit the nostalgia bomb, but I guarantee you we all wince when we were watching our first episodes, our early stuff. Someone will link to a scene in YouTube, and I'm like, watch, like, ow, how did they let that get on the air? I'm so bad. But it worked. Lightning in a bottle at the right place at the right time, and I am super fortunate to be a part of a franchise that is probably bigger than ever before now. It's reaching a whole new generation of fans that grew up on that show, and now they're raising kids of their own and raising up around these characters and shows. And it helped launch a habit, things like Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball and stuff in the old days. Gundam Wing and Inuyasha and some of the really old titles. You start to discover a whole world of awesomeness in anime. And DBZ is just one small part of the pie there, piece of the puzzle. but it's amazing to be a part of, and I'm honored and flattered, and I will continue to celebrate it till I can't do it no more.
Thank you.
You're welcome. It's cool, man. 19 years doing this. 19 years, that's an adult. I have been in this industry for an adult amount of time. And it's weird. I remember it like it was last week. I was a DJ on Radio Disney, and I heard about auditions. And I go from introducing Backstreet Boys and Britney Spears to becoming a teenager, even though I'm grown up. And that's the great thing about voiceover. Doesn't matter what you look like, doesn't matter what chronological age you happen to be, whatever your acting range and your vocal range is, you know, you're able to hone that into something that's special, that's awesome, that's passionate, that I feel like has been a part of me ever since I was a kid growing up. Obviously, all kids watch cartoons, but it affected me in the different way that it's like, I want to like voice these things. I want to do that one day. And so living the dream of working in radio as a DJ, that was my other big goal. I got to do that for like 13 years. And halfway through that, I got to segue, transition into animation voiceover. And then after 5 more years of that with Funimation, I packed up and moved to the West Coast, moved to LA, where the most opportunity is for not only, not just, there is a lot of anime done. Most of it's still done in Texas with Funimation. But in terms of voiceover opportunity, commercials, video games, cartoons, so much more, promos, which are like trailers for TV networks, like on the next Walking Dead, they have that creepy voice or whatever, or a nice, bubbly, happy voice. You're watching Disney XD. There's people that get paid lots of money to say those little corny little liner thingies. I want to do that. I want to be a trailer guy. I want to be like John Bailey, the honest trailers guy. That dude has a really amazing career. He's gone from living in Memphis to voicing, honest trailers, to actually working on Transformers movies. Being in Bumblebee is like 2 characters, I think. And that's wild. It's like people always say, what do you want to do? What do you want to work on, Kyle? It's like anything that they'll hire me on. We're all freelance. We don't make money otherwise. It's not like a day job where you have X amount of hours and you have insurance. I mean, if you're in the union and you make enough money on union projects, then you qualify for the union. I don't anymore. So you pay more in taxes. That's a bummer when you're freelance, when you're an artist or a musician or an actor. That's all like a hard lesson, a bitter pill to swallow, as it were. And your parents start questioning you. It's like, why don't you just get a regular job, a day job? It's like, you could always come back at them with, it's like, how happy are you? I get you got to cover your bills, you got to pay bills, life happens, and you got to take care of the basics. I totally get that. But from a soul perspective, do you feel enriched by what you do? Does it make you happy, or are you stressed out? Because I would hazard to guess that everyone who makes 6 figures a year and up, or just super rich, whether they're doctors and lawyers or whatnot, they're probably not very happy. They probably started out that way, and then things just got the same day in, day out, the stress and all that, and you can't enjoy. I mean, you're making all the money and you might be able to afford the Tesla and the mansion and all that, but does it really make you happy? So, I mean, I'm living a life where I'm not rich by any means at all, but I am doing something that makes me feel wealthy in a creative aspect. I get to go play characters using only my voice. I get to travel the world thanks to fans digging what I get to be a part of, and I'm so grateful for that I get to come to conventions like this and meet everyone face to face and see what effect what I'm doing, which apparently not only makes me happy, it makes other people happy too, whether it makes them laugh or helps them take their mind off of things, or maybe they're going through a depression bout, and maybe a show or a game or something that we've been a part of has made a positive impact or inspired them to follow whatever career path it is. That's like really where it's at. If you can make a living doing something you love, that's the be-all end-all right there. It's not about money. It's not about fortune and fame. It's not those things. That's all just gravy. It's bonus stuff. Of course, everyone wishes they were rich. Money isn't everything. It's a lot, but it's not everything. So people say, well, I have no money now. I want to go down this creative path, but I don't know what to do. I'm kind of stuck. I'm in a dead-end job, or I'm not where the work is. What do I do? And, we have this thing called Google. It's a really helpful resource. You can find awesome things like iwanttobeavoiceactor.com. Started by this voice actor named D. Bradley Baker, who is a veteran cartoon voice actor, does tons of creature sounds on things. You go to his website, D. Bradley Baker, and you will see voiceover demos for crickets, pigs, dogs, sheep. It's pretty wild. It's like he's a very specific sort of thing. If you look in the professional world on cartoons and movies, there's Frank Welker, who's Freddy on Scooby-Doo, and Megatron. He also does tons of creature noises and stuff. Peter Cullen, Optimus Prime, he was also the Predator. The clicks, the original clicks that the Predator made in the original Arnold Schwarzenegger movie. That blew my mind to hear, because voiceover people tend to be kind of unsung heroes. It's like they're not big popular celebs, they're not movie stars, but they're people that you hear. And now with the internet, the voice acting community has got a little more spotlight going on, so people are being more recognized now more than ever. And people are kind of staking their fortune now that YouTube and streaming platforms are kind of a thing. It's like, well, I'll just create my own cartoon and do a webcomic or do a voice acting thing. That wasn't a thing 20 years ago. We didn't really have the ability. The internet was this brand new alien frontier, and now it's on our phones. Now I have the capability of recording a quality voiceover audition on my phone with a little plug-in mic. And I do that. I've already done it this weekend. I've had auditions that were time sensitive. I did it in the hotel room. It's like, yeah, but don't you have a bunch of noise in there? It's like, no, you turn the AC off and you make a little pillow fort and throw the comforter over your head. You look like an idiot, but it gets the job done. It's pretty cool. So I have more auditions due. I'm probably going to record those tonight in the hotel room. And yeah, it's kind of freeing. It's like if you were on camera, you'd have to be on set. You have to do makeup and wardrobe. And obviously you're hired based on the look. You have to be a certain look. You could be the best actor in the world, but they don't hire you because you're 3 inches too short or whatever. You're too skinny, you're too fat, you're too this, you're that. In voiceover, it's pure. It's acting. It's, why do voice actors have headshots? What's the point? We're being hired to, what can we bring to the performance without the physicality of it? You know what I mean? Come forward, by the way. We have a mic here for anyone who wants to line up and ask questions or anything. Thanks for coming, DBZ people. Bye.
I'm a fan too.
Oh yes, it's on.
Thank you.
Like Donkey Kong.
Kyle.
Hi.
I'm a fan, by the way.
Oh, hi. Go ahead and get closer to the mic so we can hear you.
Thank you. On Gurren Lagann, you voiced Kamina. Do you ever wish that he wasn't killed off so you could voice him much longer?
Oh, God, yes. Do I wish my character, wouldn't die and go on forever? Yes. Yes, especially Kamina. It's not spoilers. It's been over 10 years, so, deal with it. It's like there has to be a point. But, yeah, that is, an amazing show, an amazing character that I got to be a part of. And they told me that he was basically going to bite the dust really early on in the show. Even though he's a fan favorite and all that stuff, I knew that going in. because the show had been out for a year in Japanese, had a huge following, and then all of a sudden we're at Bang Zoom Studios in California, in LA, and we're like, all right, we're going to do the English dub of it, and we have this accelerated production schedule because it's going to be on Sci-Fi, of all things. Not Cartoon Network, but Sci-Fi Channel. They originally had an anime block. And it was a good thing because the show proved to be very successful. They re-aired it several times. But for whatever reason, they weren't interested in licensing a dub for the 2 movies. That's bizarre. But Cartoon Network eventually got a license to air the dub too, years later, but you know, that was pretty awesome.
And if, since Naruto has finished the dubbing, so are you like done with Kiba now?
Actually, Kiba comes back in Boruto, the sequel series. He's older, and you know, he's barely in it, but you know, I'm in a few episodes. So that's nice. I'm glad that I have a character that, unlike Kamina, managed to live.
Are you gonna reprise role as Sosuke Aizen if Bleach comes back?
Yeah, it'd be cool if Viz or whatever decides to animate the final volumes of the manga, because the show, if any Bleach fans know, the manga goes past where the show did. The show just kind of ends. Like, guys, come on. Especially after, you know, we're at the anniversary, or were recently, that Bleach was like 10 years old. It's like, that would have been the perfect point to drop, hey, we're going to finish the show. So yeah, Aizen being like one of those awesome bad guys who's not a over-the-top voice at all. He's very smooth talking and very almost monotone, but friendly, and you kind of don't know if you trust him or not.
Yes. Any word on Dragon Ball Super's return to the
On Super? Will Super return? Not sure if Dragon Ball will be coming back. I'm sure it will as a matter of time, but I don't know in what form. This is not even my final form. I've honestly not heard what Toei's deciding to do with it. I mean, publicly, officially, they've said there's no plans to make any more, but come on. As big as those 3 movies were, as big as Super's been, and continues to be on Toonami, watch tonight, by the way. Yeah, there's no reason, I don't think, that it won't come back. I think it's just a matter of time. And hopefully, yeah, there'll be more series and more movies. And hopefully Gohan shows up and does something.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
What are your thoughts on abridged anime?
On the Bleach anime?
Abridged.
Oh, abridged anime. I personally think they're really funny. I think they're like great free marketing for the actual show. There's people now, especially with Dragon Ball Z or Bleach or Hellsing or some of these shows that have been around for years, a newer generation of fans, especially people in their 20s or teens or whatever, aren't necessarily familiar with that. And obviously today's generation are the internet generation. Everyone's on YouTube and everyone's watching parodies and that's what abridged is for anyone who didn't know. But it's a great way for people who are obviously talented at writing jokes and doing voices and paying homage to something that meant a lot to them when they were growing up. And that's how I see it. Obviously, the abridgers are huge fans of these shows. I know it's like a sticky situation copyright-wise because it's manipulating an image that they don't own. It's trademarked footage. So depending on who you ask, some actors, some people in the industry are very anti-abridged. My take is I think it's really funny, and I think it's just free marketing. It's free advertising. People that watched abridged first have decided to check out the original show, have started watching Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z or anything that there's an abridged series for. If anything, just out of curiosity, you know? So, yeah, that's my stance.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
Thank you for the autograph earlier, by the way.
You're very welcome.
I was wondering if you could talk a little bit about what it's like to work with Disney as compared to other studios.
Okay, working with Disney, I got to be a cameo of Ryu in Wreck-It Ralph, and the way those movies are done as opposed to anime is they will pre-record, for the most part, the actor's performance. Just like with a cartoon, they'll tend to have multiple actors in the same room, record the audio track, and then animate to it. For my cameo, the footage is just of like an 8-bit version of Ryu and Ken in an old Street Fighter arcade cabinet, right? So there's no mouth flaps, there's no lip sync to do. But I didn't have footage to look at. That was still being worked on. So I go in and it's just me in a booth with a music stand that has a piece of paper with the little script lines for this cameo. And the director is in the booth as well, Rich Moore. And I'm done in less than 5 minutes. And it's like, that's it? Okay, sweet. And I'm thinking to myself, man, this is gonna get cut. You know, it has nothing to do with the main plot. It's just like fan service, right? But then they put out a press release saying, we got the original voice talent from classic video game characters. It's like, whoa, I guess it's happening. And they had our names, like Kyle Hebert, Roger Craig Smith. And it's like, dude, that's awesome. So that took the fear out before the movie came out. And God, my life was just like, that was a moment to go on the big screen, watch an awesome Disney movie, get to be in a Disney movie. And I'm not a movie star, a celebrity, or anything. I'm just someone who happened to be lucky enough to be that current voice of that character on the video game series. So yeah, there's the huge difference of that. And obviously with anime, the footage is already done, and we're coming in and dubbing the track afterwards, and you are constrained by the mouth flaps and all that. So it takes the guesswork out. It's like, I wonder what it's going to look like when it's done, because when I go in to record, I see the footage that I'm doing. It's different also with video games. A lot of times the footage isn't done on video games yet. They're still programming, they're still animating. Sometimes they're still writing, so I'll go in with multiple sessions and do pickups, they're called. You re-record lines or do new lines that were missing before, or change a performance or a delivery of this line, or maybe you pronounce this wrong, or we change the way we want to pronounce this. So yeah, it's all sort of different things. I'm used to, more often than not, recording solo. But recording for a cartoon is definitely the most fun. Yeah.
All right, thank you very much.
Cool, thank you. Hello.
Hello there. I wanted to ask if there was any current shows overseas that you had your eye on that you've been enjoying that you would love to do some work for if it was to get brought over to the States and dubbed.
I don't have anything in mind because I haven't had time to watch anything. I kind of see what the pulse is of the fandom when I go to a con and see suddenly a bunch of people in the same kind of cosplay, and I'll ask, like, what is that? And it's like, oh, that's Attack on Titan or whatever. It's like, oh, that's the next big thing. And then eventually it comes out, and it's like, okay, I didn't have a big part, but you know, I got to be a small guy who gets squished. Me to be in episode 11 through 13 or something like that, or 9 through 11. Anyway, season 1. Yeah, I am curious to see what's coming down the pike, but I don't get a choice in picking what to audition for. I can't just go up to the studio and say, I want to read for so-and-so, because you know, we're not privy, you know, to all the happenings behind the scenes. We don't know where contracts are being signed to be recorded or what even is licensed. So the way they reach out is if we're on someone's audition list, then they'll send emails with the scripts to whoever they think is right for the part, which in voiceover, it's very competitive. So there's dozens of people who could be great as so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. So once I get the audition script, it may be for one character, it may be for 3 or 4, or they may send me a zip file that has like 20 and it says, pick whoever you think you're best for. And then it's up to fate, right? And then hopefully I'll get called in. But more oftentimes than not, I'll get called in anyway because maybe they've worked with me before, they know what I'm capable of, so they end up having me plug in the holes for the smaller parts. You know, every show, every movie has bit parts, characters that aren't necessarily named, or someone just goes, oh my God, it's coming this way. You know, someone's got to say that, right? So they bring people in, and more often than not, they may bring in like a dozen actors to voice 100 roles amongst them. I could go in and record Ryu for Street Fighter, but at the end of the session, they'll have me also be bartender or Soldier B or something else. This happens with everyone who has a main part on a show. That's pretty much par for the course. So yeah, is there anything coming down from Japan that you see is going to be the next big thing that needs to come over here and be licensed?
The thing I've been watching lately is Kimetsu no Yaiba, about a demon slayer. He has to
Okay.
avenge his family. So we aren't too far along in it yet, but I mean,
Is that a
hopefully
good
you
fit
could
for
participate.
Toonami, you think? Is it?
Yeah, for sure. Very shonen, very action, from what
Okay.
I've seen so far. So
Okay. I think the best way to go about it now is, tag them on Twitter and say, hey, Toonami, hey, Cartoon Network, keep your eyes open for this new show from Japan. Would love to see it on Toonami. That'll plant the seed in their head. They say, all right, I don't know if it's been licensed yet or not, but we're interested. We're going to keep that show on our radar because obviously, thanks to the Twitter movement, people brought back Toonami, and now it's flourishing. And it's bigger than before, and so
all
cool.
right. Thank you very much. Hope
Yeah,
that
absolutely.
generates some opportunities for you down the road.
Hey, I hope so. Thank you. Nice shirt.
Thank
We're in My Hero Academia. Very nice.
I just wanted to ask you, if you had one role to play, what would it be?
If I had a choice, like what role
Yeah.
on just anything,
Yeah, just anything.
man, I kind of want to be a character that hasn't been created yet. I want to be like something that becomes like the next SpongeBob. Something that, becomes a part of a generation that they grow up on. I mean, I already am with Dragon Ball Z, but I'm the English voice of a Japanese show. I want to be the original voice for a character, period. It's like, yeah, it'll have a Japanese voice or a Italian voice or whatnot, but I'm the original voice, just like Kevin Conroy is the original animated Batman, or Mark Hamill is the Joker. They're synonymous. You think of those roles when you think of those actors, right? So that's something I would want. I would want to do anything in Star Wars, anything in the Batman universe, any comic book, cartoon. I would jump at the chance to be, in the Marvel universe, the DC universe, the Star Wars universe, anything, because I'm doing a job that I love to do. And I mean, maybe everything that I'm on isn't great, but I have a good time doing it at least. Maybe the script isn't that good, or maybe the game comes out and it's just not that good, or the show is not that funny, or whatever. I still got hired. I got paid. I had fun. And hopefully, the next project that comes out will be good and it will have a big fan following or something. It's neat to be a part of something that means something not just to me, but to those who get to enjoy it if they watch the show or play the game or whatever. Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, sure thing.
Oh, thank you. I just wanted to ask, do you think Pan is annoying?
Do I think Pan is annoying? Gohan's daughter? Not necessarily. Do you?
Maybe.
Maybe? Maybe she just needs some discipline. Maybe her dad needs to go off and fight somewhere. No, I don't know. Yeah. What do you want to see happen? I mean, do you just want her to go away, or do you think she can train and...
She just is always in the moment and shouldn't be.
Oh,
She's in
okay.
the moment when she shouldn't be, and it's kind of annoying.
Oh, all right. I totally understand. Yeah. Who's your favorite character on the show?
Believe it or not, Gohan.
Oh, Gohan. Okay. So you're waiting just like I am for him to have his big moment, right? Have you seen all of Super in Japanese?
No.
Oh, okay. So you're just watching it on Cartoon Network or DVD or whatever?
I'm not really getting into it at the moment.
Oh, you're not getting it at the moment. Okay. Well, maybe you watch your friends' copies or something. It's out there. It's on Funimation.com too. I think they have a free version. You just have to watch ads. But yeah, you should catch up. It's really good.
Probably should, yeah.
Awesome.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, guys, it's like the best time to be an anime fan because there's so many legal ways to watch it now, and it's cheaper. It's the cheapest time to be a fan because streaming is a thing, and you don't have to worry about going to a store and trying to find a copy of something. You just log on to something like Crunchyroll or Funimation or YouTube or Hulu, or there's so many different ways to watch shows. And with your monthly subscription, if you broke it down by how many shows you get, that value is just skyrocketed. You may ask your parents or your grandparents. It's like, back in the day, we got it on VHS and it had 3 episodes on each tape. And it was $90 million. Yeah, and some shows weren't only in Japanese, or some were only in English. But luckily, since DVD came out in the late 90s, most shows, granted not all, but most shows have an option. So, you know, your dub-hating friends can watch that. So, I just really hope that there's no, I wish the animosity would go away in the fandom community, the toxicity and the bullying that goes on, you know, for people for different orientations, or just because you like something and watch it in English, you're automatically a bad person. That's never made sense to me. So hopefully, if you know anyone that is a troll and just hates on English dubs, try to convince them. That's like, you know, having the English dub available to an English-speaking audience makes it possible for the show to even be here in the first place. You know, if you want to support the companies that put these shows out, you know, you're going to have to pay, you're going to have to show them with your money, with your dollars. You know, spend money on the actual purchases or the actual downloads or whatnot. Don't give money to pirate websites for their server cost and bandwidth and all that, because the studios don't get a piece of that at all, you know? And yeah, you don't want to see the end of a show. You don't want to be like something you're a fan of suddenly end. You know what? Chances are it ends because they ran out of money. Why did they run out of money? Because they weren't making money. Why weren't they making money? Because no one was buying it. Why wasn't anyone buying it? Because they watched it already. How did they watch it already? They watched it for free from Pirate Torrent. So you see, it kind of goes up there. Even though most fans come at this from a purely, I just can't wait to watch. It's not a, I'll show them, I'm going to download and I'm going to be a pirate and love every minute of it. Most fans aren't like that, thank God. Most fans are really, really cool, and they're like, we want to watch our show now. And, you know, luckily, again, with all these streaming formats, the shows, the window between Japanese release and English keeps shrinking. So always take advantage of social media and tweet or Facebook post or email your favorite or whatever studio has these shows and tell them that you want to see an official release of whatever it is, that you would support it, that you want to see it on Netflix. Let Netflix know. They don't know what to license. They just know that, what's this anime thing? It sure is popular. And then they start getting awesome things like Castlevania or Seven Deadly Sins and so many more things. And that's thanks to the fans. So you have power, my friends. Okay, step forward, please.
So I know it's not like one of your major roles, but would you mind talking a bit about playing Sima Yi?
Sima Yi from Dynasty Warriors. So I got to play from part 6 onward, except any instances where there was no English dub. Samurai Warriors too, I guess, Orochi Warriors. But Sima Yi was like a really cool bad guy where I ended up basically just being Aizen. It's kind of the same Aizen voice. You're kind of in a vacuum though. When you go to record for these games, they tell you very little. they don't want you tweeting about it anyway. You have to sign a non-disclosure agreement about what you're working on. So if you see us post about it, chances are the game is out, or we got express permission to. Otherwise, we could get in big trouble and never get hired again, or get, sued. So I only knew of Dynasty Warriors. I had never played it, but I knew that I was coming in and I was replacing. I wasn't the original voice. A lot of people on the later games weren't the original voice actors for that, for whatever reason. They're not available anymore, or they just weren't interested, or whatnot. So, I had the chance to do it. I would have to go out several times to a studio and record, because I wasn't just Sima Yi. I was like 2 or 3 other guys in the same game. So I would have to go across town for multiple 4-hour sessions over the course of weeks, and then maybe come back for that pickup session, that thing that I mentioned earlier, where there's more dialogue, or we're going to have a new scene or whatever. And we'll just hear it in Japanese, or maybe we'll see a rough animated version of that. So at least I got to see the character before I did it. So if you're not given a picture of the character, it's kind of hard to put in there because you need context. It's like, is he old? Is he young? Is he big? Is he skinny? What sort of characteristics does this guy have? And he looked sort of slim and devious, kind of like Jafar. He kind of reminded me of Jafar in Aladdin. So it's like, all right, okay. So not a nice guy. I got that. So we'll have him be a little bit deeper voiced. We'll go that way. If you've ever played the Japanese audio track of those games, you'll notice that the voices don't necessarily match the tone.
Yeah.
Like, they're very, very different. So I don't think I necessarily was asked to match the tone of the Japanese actor for Sima Yi. They kind of said, we like this. We like your audition. Your audition was this. And basically what I did in the audition is what you hear in the final game. So that was cool. I wasn't directed far away from that at all.
Oh, I like it a lot.
Well, that's cool. Thank you. Thank you.
Would you mind doing his laugh? That's my favorite.
Yeah. Just when you think you're never going to go through a career and have an evil laugh, I finally got to with that character, Sima Yi in Dynasty Warriors. Hi there.
Hello. I had a question to ask, which was, what was it like with voice training for you in Dragon Ball Z? Let's say, straining when it came to certain fights, against like Majin Buu. Was there certain moments where you had to, train your voice to get ready for those episodes?
Woo! I wasn't warned back in the day about, hey, the next session you have features a lot of screaming, so be ready. Nowadays, they warn you most of the time. I'll get an email saying, are you available at this time and this time? This session will be vocally stressful. That's their nice way of saying we will shred your vocal cords apart. We didn't have that back in the early days of the DBZ dub. So yeah, I would go in thinking I'm just going to talk or be the narrator next time on Dragon Ball Z. It's like, all right, I'm going to go home and this will be easy. It's like, all right, this one, Gohan's going to power up and for an inhumanly long amount of time, longer than a person can actually scream. So yeah, take a deep breath, and it's like, I almost passed out. There are other actors that actually did pass out. I didn't, but boy, I was woozy. I had to sit down and catch my breath, and it's like, oh my gosh, am I going to hyperventilate? This is hard. But fortunately, Dragon Ball Z is like boot camp for people who voice act on any RPG or first-person shooter or fighting game nowadays, because that's all screaming. So when they say, we're so sorry, there's some screaming coming, and I say, that's okay, I worked on Dragon Ball. I got this. Yeah, so yeah, we'd go through tons of water, lots of hot tea, Chinese cough syrup, throat sprays, lozenges, whatever, all sorts of stuff there in the studio, in the booth, ready to go, so that you could keep doing the session. Like if our characters have to talk first, we'll record that and then save all the screaming for the end of the session. Because if you do it the other way around, then your voice is shot, then you can't do the talking part. And then your voice, it sounds, if anyone has lost their voice, you sound completely different than when you have your voice. So that's happened to me. Even recording games in Los Angeles, I've yelled for 2 hours straight, And then the next morning, I have to go in and record a kid, like Kiba on Naruto, and I sound nothing like I normally do. So, they one line in, and they say, all right, go home. Yeah, your voice is shot. It's like, sorry. Hi. You gargle razor blades all the time, don't you?
Thank you.
Thank you.
What would you say is your favorite voice acting role? And please say it's the Great Saiyaman.
Oh, Great Saiyaman is definitely up there. A lot of people hate Great Saiyaman, but I love being Great Saiyaman. I love seeing all the poses. I love seeing the cosplay, because it's getting rarer and rarer as time goes on. But, with Dragon Ball Z having its new renaissance and everything, you're seeing more stuff. You're seeing more action figures. Still waiting on the Pop Funko to throw one out, but come on. We don't need another Goku. We don't need another Vegeta. Let's stop with all the variants. Let's put out some grown-up Gohan, all right? We have enough of the kid Gohan. I understand he's the most popular because he beat Cell, but come on. There's other versions you can do. Come on. Yeah. Good shirt, by the way.
Oh, thank you.
Yu Yu Hakusho. Hi.
Hi. What's one Marvel or DC character that you want to voice act?
Okay. Marvel character that would be fun to voice act. Oh my gosh. Wolverine. That'd be killer. It's hard to top Steve Bloom, though. I mean, come on. Let's face it. Spidey would be fun. DC-wise, I love John Constantine. I love, Batman, obviously. Who doesn't want to be Batman? But, I also don't want to be compared. Just like, you're good, but you're not Kevin Conroy. It's like, I know.
Thank you.
Yeah. Who's your favorite Marvel DC character?
Marvel, Spider-Man, and DC, probably Flash.
Right, Flash. Okay, Flash is cool too. Yeah, good times. Honestly, whatever they want to throw me on, I'm there. I'm going to give 110% regardless.
Thank you.
I played an obscure Marvel one, Wiccan, on Marvel Online.
I think I've heard of the character.
Yeah, I hadn't even heard of him when I said, you're playing a hero named Wiccan. It's like, okay, I guess it's a Marvel canon character? It's like, it is. Look him up. I'm like, okay. Wiccan, Wiccan, like witchcraft. Cool, thank you.
Hello again.
Hello.
So my question is, when you play as Ryu in some games, what was it like seeing Ryu in Marvel vs. Capcom and Smash Brothers?
Seeing Ryu go outside of the Street Fighter universe is awesome, because you think, oh, they're never going to allow that. But for whatever reason, they're able to shake hands and share profits and all that stuff, so you can see great crossovers like that. I love being able to play against Marvel characters as Ryu. That's really neat.
Thank you for the question.
All right. Thank you.
Would you say Piccolo's the greatest dad?
Piccolo's totally Gohan's dad. Totally. I absolutely agree. Do you think that's true too?
Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, Gohan might as well just paint himself green. And, totally. Yeah. It's never been any doubt in my mind. I mean, I know Goku loves his kid. There's no doubt, but he's been gone a lot in that boy's life. And, Gohan's doing the right thing by his wife and his kids, so, at least there's that. And Piccolo's been there and trained him and helped make him as strong as he is, so,
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Hi, sir.
Hi. Congratulations on your award, 2018.
Oh, I got an award?
Yeah, I saw the news. You've done a lot of video games.
I have.
Do you ever get to see any of the gameplay before you do the voice acting for it?
That's a good question. Would the voice actors get to play a beta or anything?
Right.
Do we get to do that? No, for the most part, because the games are still being worked on and animated. They're not even in a playable form yet. The one time we had a Japanese demo of the Bleach Soul Resurrection game for PlayStation. We actually did, as we were recording, get to see that, it's Dynasty Warriors in the air. you know. So that was neat, but you know, that was super, super rare. That almost never happens.
Do you ever get surprised when you see the gameplay and then you hear your voice in there?
Yeah, that's the cool part. I totally geek out when I finally get to see what becomes of that, because more often than not, these are games that are adapted from the Japanese, and all we have to go on is maybe an image or a rough animatic version or something, and just the Japanese audio. So getting to, especially if you're a playable character, that's like, whoa, that's awesome. Love it. Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you all for coming, everybody. I'll be signing again tomorrow.